economics, and I tried all these different areas of a similar field. And I remember I was home on the break, and my girlfriend and I loved going to Borders. Well, rest in peace now, Borders, I guess. But we loved going to Borders, and it felt refreshing going back home. I'm going, well, this is what I like to do. And I was sitting in Borders, and I go, why don't I just make this how I'm going to spend the next 2 years of my life in school? And started thinking, it was tough to come around being an English major, especially in the culture in which I came and with which I was raised. And I started thinking about different ways I can apply the way the techniques you learn from an English major, the way you approach foreign cultures, and the way you interpret documents, the way you interpret culture. So very literally, that was my aha moment. And I can say with confidence that I think it was the right move. I don't know if anyone else.
I guess for me, I've always been exposed to the humanities. When I was really young, I wanted to be an author, and I've read books like it was nobody else's business. And I traveled extensively, so it wasn't that I wasn't exposed to different cultures or different mindsets. I guess for me, like the main personal question that I've had about my future career has always been, how can I make a difference? And for some reason, in high school, middle school, I just never really thought that the humanities could help me do that. I guess maybe because I like to read for pleasure and not, read and find the common links of the human experience. And I don't know. But all that to say that last semester, I think, was my aha moment when I took medical anthropology, and that was, the class that bridged the gap for me. Even freshman year, I went to El Salvador, and I was living in this rural camp in the mountains, and a place where you manually flush the toilet. You get a bucket of water and you flush the toilet. And even then, it didn't occur to me that you had to approach patients there differently than you would approach them here. So it was definitely the medical anthropology class that I took, the books I read, and finally seeing that culture plays such a huge role in medical practice. And that, I think, combined with the fact that I became more heavily involved with Wake Saturdays, which is the homeless ministry that that I volunteer through, and hearing all of their stories and realizing that my background is so different from their background, and all of the experiences that those people have been through they make their medical histories more complex and more difficult to solve, I think, than my case would be. So all of that, I think, put together last semester, I just had an aha moment. It actually made my life a lot harder because I was in the middle of applying to MD PhD programs in neuroscience, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, I'm hoping medical anthropology or psychology. And so I ended up applying to a whole bunch of humanities programs too, so it made my life really hard. But that was my aha moment. So, yeah.
I think in order to have an aha moment, you have to have a sort of disposition that I don't possess. It takes me months to figure out what I really need to do, and in most cases years. I resisted as best I could, liberal arts. I took astronomy because I was told it was the easiest class to take, and a friend recommended bio, and I said no. And I was just forced to. I just couldn't avoid it. Freshman year, I took my freshman year seminar, and it was on the musical theater students on, which just really got me. And then the following semester, I took philosophy, intro to philosophy course with Charles Lewis that really just messed with me. And then the following year, I went abroad, and even the literature course I was taking within abroad really confronted some of my narrow-mindedness about sort of the literature of our day. And I think it was probably after coming back from that, and I was taking Greek mythology with James Powell, and I realized that at that point in my life, my interests were pretty evenly divided between English and everything else. English still had 50% of me, but compared to the 95% I had freshman good lesson and a good encouragement to the art schools that when they see things not working, especially in the communities, when they see students not getting, try again, because some of them are so lucky. So.
I think maybe mine came, I've always been really passionate about literature, but I took a class on Asian religions, and we talked about Taoism, and one of the tenets of Taoism, as I'm sure many know, is that you shouldn't name things, because in naming things you acquire power over them and you assign characteristics to them that you can kind of do with what you will. And so Confucianism really took hold of that idea too and said, okay, yes, we need to name things so we can get power over them. And Taoism said, no, we can't do that. And Taoism just blew my mind, and I had just always thought it was some weird thing that people in the 60s would have liked. But then I thought, no, this is cool. And we talked about how Taoism foreshadowed postmodernism and a lot of thoughts on semiotics, and that was crazy, and I felt new neural connections forming, and I really did, and I thought that this is really great, and so that was a moment of personal pleasure, I guess, of epiphany, and so I guess the questions then that raised was, okay, so this is a moment of personal satisfaction. What is the point of that, I guess, for a broader culture? Why should we, nudge people to have those moments of personal pleasures? They gain satisfaction from making connections between disciplines and between kind of seemingly very separate ideas. And then I began to think, because, that is what life is. Life is making connections between seemingly disparate things and being creative. And a creative person, I think, can do mostly anything in terms of jobs and serious things like that. Perhaps not. You can't. If you're going to do serious math or physics or something, you need to have that skill set. But I think the skill set acquired in humanities will only inform that positively. And so that is kind of what I came to believe.
I guess it's hard for me really to identify one moment. I think my aha moment occurs in culmination of various mentors, professors, students, and peers that met at Wake Forest. But I guess if I had to pick one moment, it would be on the plane ride back from 10 weeks of researching in East Africa this past summer. And I was thinking through all the experiences that I've had and the people I've met, and really the feeling of observing the power of the work I was doing. And it dawned on me, like Teddy was saying, having been in Borders, that really that this could become my life. I could spend the rest of my life having this feeling inside of me, and that is really feeling that. I guess that was my mom.
Thank you all very much. I just want to say, in wrapping up here, that you've given us all a lot of wonderful food for thought. And as we move forward in establishing and developing and growing as an institute and as a faculty and as a corporate academic body of scholars, including students and faculty, that we're going to be very busy implementing your vision in the future. I have another question, but we're out of time, so I won't ask it. I'll just ask it without your answering it, actually. And that is, I was wondering how each of you will take the lessons that you've learned here when you go out into the world. And I can tell from the presentations you've given that there's been a real breadth of experience that you've had that's given you new visions for both how you see the world and how you see yourselves in the future. And so please take those new neural connections with you. Thank you very much.